So tomorrow I begin work on another one of my virtual Readers Theater video presentations, and I figured what better time than now to take a look back at some of the previous virtual Readers Theater video presentations, starting with the Shakespeare ones because we've done 7 of them. 7 Shakespeare videos in 2 years. The first one was Pyramus and Thisbe, the play within a play from A Midsummer Night's Dream. I picked this as the first project because when I was 16, I think, I took acting lessons after school, and we put on a presentation for our parents at the end of the course, which was the play within a play from A Midsummer Night's Dream. I played the Wall, and so it just seemed like a good starting point. Something simple.
In this same interlude it doth befall, that I, one snout by name, present a wall, and such a wall, as I would have you think, that had in it a crannied hole or chink, through which the lovers, Pyramus and Thisbe, did whisper often very secretly, this loam, this rough cast, and this stone doth show, that I am that same wall, the truth, be it so, and this the cranny, right and sinister, through which the fearful lovers are to whisper.
Would you desire lime and hair to speak better?
It is the wittiest partition that I've ever heard discourse. My lord!
Weary with toil, I haste me to my bed. The dear repose for limbs with travel tired. But then begins a journey in my head, to work my mind when body's work's expired. For then my thoughts from far where I abide intend a zealous pilgrimage to thee, and keep my drooping eyelids open wide, looking on darkness which the blind do see, save that my soul's imaginary sight presents thy shadow to my sightless view, which like a jewel hung in ghastly night makes black night beauteous and her old face new. Lo, thus by day my limbs, by night my mind, for thee and for myself no quiet find. O grim looked night, O night with hue so black, O night which ever art when day is not, O night, alack, 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 I fear my Thisbe's promise is forgot. And thou, O wall. Wall, oh sweet, oh lovely wall, that standest between her father's ground and mine. O wall, oh sweet and lovely wall, show me thy chink to blink through with mine eye. Thanks, courteous wall. Jove shield thee well for this. But what see I? No Thisbe do I see! O wicked wall, through whom I see no bliss! Cursed be thy stones for thus deceiving me!
The wall, methinks, being sensible, should curse again.
No, in truth, your highness, he should not. Deceiving me is Thisbe's cue. She is to enter now, and I am to spy her through the wall. You shall see, it will fall pat as I told you. Yonder she comes.
When most I wink, then do mine eyes best see, for all the day they view things unrespected. But when I sleep, in dreams they look on thee, and, darkly bright, are bright and dark directed. When thou, whose shadows doth make bright, how would thy shadows form, happy show, to the clear day, with thy much clearer light, when to unseeing eyes thy shade shines so? How would I say, mine eyes be blessed made, by looking on thee in the living day, when in dead night thy fair and perfect shade through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay? All days are nights to see till I see thee, and nights bright days when dreams do show me thee. O wall, full often hast thou heard my moans, for parting my fair Pyramus and me. My cherry lips have oft kissed thy stones with lime and hair knit up in thee.
I see a voice. And now will I to the chink to spy, and I can hear my Thisbe's face. Thisbe!
My love, thou art. My love, I think.
Think what thou wilt. I am thy lover's grace, and like Lamander, am I trusty still.
And I like Helen, till the fates me kill.
Not Shacklus to Procris was so true.
As Shaftless to Procris, I to you.
Kiss me through the hole of this vile wall!
I kiss the wall's hole, not your lips at all.
Wilt thou at Ninny's tomb meet me straight away?
Tide life, tide death, I come without delay.
Thus have I, Wall, my part discharged so. And, being done, thus Wall away doth go.
Now, is the mural down between those two neighbors?
No remedy, my lord, when walls are so willful to hear without warning.
This is the silliest stuff I ever
The
heard.
best in this kind are but shadows, and the worst are no worse, if imagination amends.
It must be your imagination then, and not theirs.
If we imagine no worse of them than they of themselves, they may pass for excellent men.
And overall, I'm very happy with how this one came out. I added a couple of sonnets here and there to pad it out more, because the way it was written, it was only like 12 minutes long, and I wanted it to be just a little bit longer than that. Then I got a little more ambitious. Not full Shakespeare play ambitious, mind you. I've not gotten that ambitious yet. But this one was Shakespeare, Shelter in Place. Started work on that about 2 months later, 3 months later. And between the years of 1605 and 1607, there were major plague outbreaks in the city of London that shut all the businesses down, including, of course, the theaters. So while he was sheltering in place, living in quarantine, Shakespeare wrote 3 of his darkest works: King Lear, Macbeth, and Antony and Cleopatra. And so we basically took little snippets from those 3 plays and gave it kind of a COVID theme. A little bit of like a flashback to 2020. Because don't we all have nostalgic memories of 2020?
When shall we 3 meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be here this side of sun.
Where's the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Paddock calls.
Anon.
Anon.
Stop that! Oh, why was I cursed with such idiot sisters?
Just lucky, I guess.
Fair is foul,
and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
For Antony and Cleopatra, I remember about 30 years ago, Vanessa Redgrave had directed a production of it in New York City and starred in it. And I remember her on one talk show saying how she wasn't playing the Egyptian Cleopatra, she was playing the English Cleopatra. So that would be, Elizabeth I. So we kind of went with an Elizabeth and Essex theme in this video. Now what was funny was the day Lisa and I shot the scene where Cleopatra dies, we didn't realize it at the time, but it was actually the anniversary of the death of Elizabeth I. So that was kind of a weird coincidence. Later in the summer, Shakespeare's supernatural creatures and where to find them. So for this one, it was basically like things like the ghost of Hamlet's father, the witches from Macbeth, the fairies from Midsummer Night's Dream, and of course the supernatural creatures from The Tempest, which is probably my second favorite Shakespeare show. I saw an incredible production of it years ago at the Center for Performing Arts in Rhinebeck. Lou Trapani had done this whole thing with it being like Prospero traveling to the New World and basically appropriating the customs of the natives there. And I loved that theme, but I didn't want to just rip it off. And then I remembered the movie Forbidden Planet was based on The Tempest. So I kind of came up with some type of hybrid of those two ideas, you know, with Prospero being like a space alien traveling to the Americas and colonizing them. And then we finished the year with A Very Shakespeare Christmas. This is the cast DVD right here. I was trying to imitate the look of the old Firestone Christmas albums from the 60s and 70s because it wasn't Christmas until we played those records when I was a kid. And this one was a little less focused than the others. I think this is probably the weakest of my Shakespeare entries. It has some great scenes, but it's very kind of all over the place. Mostly features scenes from A Winter's Tale and Twelfth Night and Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. It's fine. It's a little slow in places, I think.
Puck had been making his Yuletide trip to the hospital, bringing gifts of enchanted dreams to the sufferers who were bedded down indefinitely in white sheets and in grave need of the release that a good dream can bring.
When I first saw her, I thought her to be the most beautiful mortal I had found this century. 17 was a most perfect age for this physical form. I was drawn to her grace, her expression, and countenance of kindness. She seemed good for the world and far too young to be dying. With half-opened eyes, she could watch the light shimmering through the tree branches outside of her window. As the curtain inhaled backwards and forward with the breeze, she could not see me watching her.
"What day is it?" she asked her nurse softly, who had cuffed her arm and pumped the pressure with an awkwardness that showed her nervousness with death. She was uncomfortable and fumbled with the pen upon the chart, whilst replying that it was Christmas, not even bothering to look up.
Caroline herself said nothing more. Her soul had other plans now, and was preparing to move on.
Puck remembered that day and how she fled from the world without complaint or expectation. Gabriel Brunson, Puck in Hell, Auslander series.
So that takes us to 2025. Spring of 2025, I began work on Shakespeare's supernatural creatures and where to find them. There were so many scenes in Shakespeare involving supernatural entities that, you know, I couldn't just do one. There had to be a follow-up. And this one features the ghost of Caesar's ghost, a couple more scenes from The Tempest, and Joe Davis plays Mercutio in one scene, talking about Mab, the fairy queen. And we decided to make Mercutio like a veteran with PTSD. So the speech starts off, you know, kind of lighthearted and whimsical about her riding in a chariot made from a hazelnut and being pulled by snails or grasshoppers or something. But then suddenly the speech turns dark and morbid, and then she driveth over a soldier's neck. So at that point in the speech we have fireworks going off in the distance, and that triggers the
and then dreams. Oh, dreams! Dreams are of another he, in another world, in another benefice. Sometimes she driveth over her soldier's neck. And he dreams of conquests, battles, breaches of heaths 5 fathoms deep, and then anon, drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus frightened, swears a prayer or two, to sleep again.
Peace, Mercutio, peace.
That is very mad.
Thou talkest of nothing.
It's true. I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing, with vain fantasy. Which is a thin substance as the air, and more inconsistent than the wind, whose woes even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered, puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south.
So, I really enjoyed this one, though. And then we had a very Shakespeare Yuletide sequel. Once again, trying to recreate the old Firestone Christmas album covers for the cast DVD. This one primarily focused on Hamlet and a couple of scenes from King Lear. I think this is my second favorite in the series. I'm trying. One of these two. Really, I think these two are like the best. And then we did, this year, 2026, a video called Shakespeare Home Video. That one's definitely one of the better ones too. That one really, my friend Dan had come up with this brilliant idea for the scene where Romeo duels Paris by Juliet's grave, or in Juliet's tomb.
Stop thy unhallowed toil, vile Montague! Can vengeance be pursued further than death?
The gentle sir tempted not a desperate man! It was a really good reimagining of it, making it like a 1970s Italian horror movie, and so the rest of the video kind of spun off from that idea. And I tried to give it like an 80s flair. Not in that scene, of course, but the rest of it. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how that came out. So, if you feel like it, just sit back and enjoy some clips from The Best of the Bard.
I left no ring with her. What means this lady? Fortune forbid my outside have not charmed her. She made good view of me. Indeed, so much that sure methought her eyes had lost her tongue. For she did speak and starts distractedly. Disguise. I see thou art a wickedness, wherein the pregnant enemy does much. How easy is it for the proper false of women's waxen hearts to set their forms? Alas, our frailty is the cause, not we. For such as we are made of, such we be. Oh, this Fadge. My master loves her dearly, and I, poor monster, fond as much on him. And she, mistaken, seems to dote on me. Ah, what will become of this? Oh, time. Thou must untangle this, not I. It is too hard a knot for me to untie.
Who comes here? I think it is the weakness of mine eyes that shapes this monstrous aberration. It comes upon me. Art thou anything? Art thou some god? Some angel? Or some devil? Thou makest my blood cold and my hair to stare. Speak to me what thou art!
I'm the ghost with the most, dude. Thy evil spirit, Brutus.
Why comest thou?
To tell thee thou shalt see me at Philippi.
Why, I will see thee at Philippi then.
Aye, at Philippi.
Now I have taken heart thou vanishest. Ill spirit, I will hold more talk with thee.
Good morrow, brother.
Benedicite! What early tongue so sweet saluteth me?
Thy carliness doth me assure thou art uproused by some distemperature.
Or, if not so, and here I hit it right. Our Romeo hath not been in bed since last night.
Thou art a very naughty, dirty, naughty dog.
I have been feasting with mine enemy. Plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on hers, so hers is on mine. And all combined, save what thou must combine by holy marriage. When and where and how we met, we wooed and made exchange of vow. I'll tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today.
Holy St. Francis, what a change is here! Is Rosaline, whom thou didst love so dear, and before her was Ethel, the pirate's daughter, so soon forsaken?
Before that, it was her brother, and then the goat, and the cow, and the sheep.
Young men's love then lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, how art thou so changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Thou chidest me oft for loving Rosaline. And Ethel.
And the cat, and the goose, and the duck.
For doting, not for loving, pupil mine.
Pray thee chide not. She whom I love now doth grace for grace and love for love allow. The other did not so.
Oh, she knew well. Thy love did read by rote and could not spell.
But come, you dreamy fool. In one respect, will thy assistance be? For this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor to pure love.
Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste.
Wisely and slow. They stumble that run fast.
What I want, I'll keep dreaming.
We are not alone. They are among us. As the skies light up, they believe we are blissfully unaware. But this activity by non-human extraterrestrial technology is capturing the attention.
Sycorax, Jacqueline Thompson. I was a minnow of a girl tossed by the storm, banished from Algiers, with the skin of my belly tight as a drum, packed with the kicks of my Caliban, whose diabolic father knew a trick or two. Prospero offered my boy stolen fruit on open palms, beguiled with wily spells. Now Caliban bears wood like a mule, weeps over his chains, until iron turns to rust, and man turns to beast with a poet's tongue. Ah, his words might be as sweet as peaches. At night, he rocks gently, sings lullabies, but they are few and brief and soiled with curses. Oh, he could be so tall if he would only walk with unbowed spine.
All the infections that the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats, on Prospero fall and make him by inch meal a disease. His spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. They'll not pinch, fright me with urchin, shows, pitch me to the mire, nor lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way, unless he bid 'em. But for every trifle they are set upon me, sometimes like apes that mow and chatter at me, and after bite me, then like hedgehogs which lie tumbling at my barefoot way, and mount their pricks at my football. And sometimes I am all wound up with adders who have cloven tongues, do hiss me into madness.
How now, Ariel? Moody? What as thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out? No more!
Thou didst promise to bait me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost? And think it too much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp wind of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost?
I do not, sir.
Thou last malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy has grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgotten her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak. Tell me.
Sir, in Argir.
Was she so? I must once in a month recount what thou hast been, which thou forgettest. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter any human hearing, from Argir, thou knowest, was banished. For one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is this not true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, here and left by sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportest thyself, was then her servant. And for thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthly and abhorrent commands, refusing her grand hests, she did confine thee into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain a dozen years, within which space she died, and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans as fast as mill wheels strike. Then was this island, save for the son that she did litter here, a feckled whelp, hag-born, not honoured with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Dull thing, I say so. He, that Caliban, whom now I keep in service. Thou best knowest what torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl, and penetrate thy breasts of ever angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, and made gape in the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his naughty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
I will be a correspondent to command and do my spriting gently.
Do so, and after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. Say what? What shall I do?
Well, for starters, these boots aren't going to spit shine themselves.
To the Men Who Burned Witches by Nikita Gill. There is witchcraft in our blood. In our bones, we carry the magic that you could not burn away. You see, fire does not eat fire. Your mother would have taught you that. If the world hadn't convinced her that despite her body being able to bring life into this world, she is not a magical thing. Maybe the witches you burned were the daughters of something more holy than you could ever handle. So you set them alight for being different, forgetting that even the son of your god was once condemned for being too pure, too beautiful, too different for this world. History devoured your name, but we have never forgotten what you did, witch hunter. You see, fire never forgets. When you burned the witches, you thought what you did was small, but the flames gave birth to ideas, and the ideas set alight souls. For every witch you burned, there are now 1,000 witch women living differently and standing tall. And you may have burned some of us, but you will never destroy us all.
William Allingham, The Fairies. Up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting for fear of little men. Wee folk, good folk, trooping all together, green jacket, red cap, and white owl's feather. Down along the rocky shore, some make their home. They live on crispy pancakes of yellow tide foam. Some in the reeds of the black mountain lake, with frogs for their watchdogs, all night awake. They stole little Bridget for 7 years long. When she came down again, her friends were all gone. They took her lightly back between the night and morrow. They thought she was fast asleep, but she was dead with sorrow. They have kept her ever since deep within the lake on a bed of flag leaves, watching till she woke.
The Stolen Child, W.B. Yeats. Where dips the rocky highland of Sleuth Wood in the lake? There lies a leafy island where flapping herons wake, the drowsy water rats. There we've hid our fairy vats, full of berries and of reddest stolen cherries. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Where the wave of moonlight glosses the dim gray sands with light, far off by furthest Rosses, we foot it all at night. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand.
Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both, by the all-hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he proposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters to beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear, to alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lord upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I that am not shaped for sportive tricks, I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here that boob Clarence comes.
Thou nature art my goddess, to thy law my services are bound.
Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me? For that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother. Why, bastard? Wherefore base? My mind as generous and my shape as true as honest madam's issue. Why brand they us with base, with baseness, bastardery, base? Who in the lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed? Go to the creating! A whole tribe of folks go tween asleep and wake. Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land.
Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. In peace, there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood. Disguise fair nature with hard-favored rage. Whose blood is fet from fathers of war-proof. Fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. Dishonor not your mothers, now attest that those whom you called fathers did beget you. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start, the game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge cry, God for Harry, England, and St. George.
Why, hi now, Hecate. You look angry.
Have I not reason, beldams as you are, saucy and overbold? How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art.
Perhaps a calming circle.
I am calm!
I don't think thou art being honest with thyself.
Oh, I don't think we should anger her any further.
Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to the ground. Distilled by magic slates, shall raise such artificial sprites as that, as by the strength of their illusion, shall draw him on to his confusion.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand?
He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear. He hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear.
There is an old tale goes that Herne the Hunter, sometimes a keeper here in Windsor Forest, doth all the winter time at still midnight walk round about an oak with great ragged horns. And there he blasts a tree and takes the cattle and makes milch kiln yield of blood and shakes a chain in the most hideous and dreadful manner. You have heard of such a spirit, and well, you know the superstitious, idle-headed Eld received and did deliver to our age this tale of Herne the Hunter for a truth.
Why yet there want not many that do fear, and deep of night to walk by this Herne's oak. But what of this?
Marry, this is our device, that Falstaff at that oak shall meet with us.
Well, let it not be doubted, but he'll come, and in this shape, when you have brought him thither, what shall be done with him? What is your plot?
That likewise we have thought upon. And thus Nan Page, my daughter, and my little son, and 3 or 4 more of their growth will dress like urchins, ophuses, and fairies, green and white, with rounds of waxen tapers on their heads and rattles in their hands. Upon a sudden, as Falstaff, she and I are newly met, let them from forth a soppet rush at once with some diffuse song. Upon their sight, we too, in great amazedness, will fly. Then let them all encircle him about, and fairy-like to pinch the unclean knight, and ask him why, that hour of fairy revel in their so sacred paths, he dares to tread in shape profane.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love and law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietest make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others we know not of. Thus conscience doth make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moments with this regard, their currents turn awry and lose the name of action.
Emma Lazarus, Loneliness. All stupor of surprise hath passed away. She sees with clearer vision than before a world far off of light and laughter gay, herself alone and lonely evermore. Folk come and go, and reach in her no wise, mere flitting phantoms to her heavy eyes. All outward things that once seemed part of her fall from her, like the leaves in autumn shed. She feels as one embalmed in spice and myrrh, with her heart eaten out a long time dead, unchanged without, the features and the form, within devoured by the thin red worm.
No more but e'en a woman, and commanded by such poor passion as the maid that milks and does the meanest chores. If it were for me to throw my scepter at the injurious gods, to tell them that this world did equal theirs, till they had stolen our jewel. All but not. Patience is such, and impatience does become a dog that's mad. Then, is it sin to rush into the secret house of death? Ere death, dare you come to us? In death, dare come to us? How do you, women? What, good cheer? Why now, Charmian? Our lamp is spent. Look, it's out. Good sirs, take heart. We'll bury him. And then what's brave, what's noble, let's do it after the high Roman fashion and make death proud to take us. Come, away.
By her own prowess she must stand or fall. This grief is to be conquered day by day. Who could befriend her? Who could make this small, or her strength great? She meets it as she may. A weary struggle and a constant pain. She dreams not they may ever cease nor wane.
Dylan Thomas, do not go gentle into that good night. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The wise men at their end know darkest right, because of their words have forked no lightning they. Do not go gentle into that good night.
Rules of fairy, Maeve Hightower. Do not eat of fairy food, and do not drink of fairy wine. Or when you leave fairy at last, the home you seek's no longer thine. Wear giving thanks for fairy gifts, though they save you from all pain, or else you may be in their debt and lose more than you stood to gain. Beware lights off fairy shores, and lanterns seen in wild bogs, for wisps will lead folks off of cliffs, and laugh as corpses float like logs. And buy not from fairy markets. They sell goblin fruits, curses, lies, the price of your dreams, your past, your soul, your voice, the color of your eyes.
Where is everyone? Where is everybody? Hey guys! Hey guys! Hey guys! Oh. I see their knavery. This is to make an ass of me, to fright me if they could. But I will not stir from this place. Do what they can. I will walk up and down here. I will sing, and they shall hear that I am not afraid. The ousel so block of you, with orange tourney bill. The thistle with his note so true, the wren with little quill.
What angel wakes me from my flowery bed?
The finch, the sparrow, and the lark, the plain song cuckoo gray, whose note full many a man doth mark, and dares not answer. Ooh, 1,000 pardons. For indeed, who would set his wit to so foolish a bird indeed? Who would give a bird that lie to the cry, cuckoo, never so?
I pray thee, gentle mortal, sing again. Mine ear is much enamored of thy note. So is mine eye enamored to thy shape, and thy fair virtue's force perforce doth move me on the first view to say, to swear, I love thee.
Methinks, mistress, you should have little reason for that. And yet, to say the truth, Reason and love keep little company together nowadays. The more the pity that some honest neighbors will not make them friends. Nay, I can cleek upon occasion.
Thou art as wise as thou art beautiful.
Not so neither, but if I had wit enough to get out of this wood, I have enough to save my own turn.
Out of this wood do not desire go. Thou shalt remain here, whether thou wilt it or no. I'll give thee fairies to attend on thee, and they shall fetch thee jewels from the deep, and sing while thou on pressed flowers dost sleep.
Bonjour, petite bird.
The Princess Catherine speaks some English.
And you are?
I am her tutor, and shall now serve as her translator, as I have done many a time, since she was a wee child.
How well versed is she?
She is gifted in many areas, I am sure. But, picking up foreign languages is not her strongest suit.
Bonjour, Gus. Bonjour, Jacques.
Oh, good lord. She's bonding with the rodents again. Tongue back in your mouth, girl. We are not a dog in heat, now are we?
Of no matter. She is the fairest creature I've ever laid eyes upon.
Yes, your majesty.
Ah, fair Catherine, and most fair, will you vouchsafe to teach a soldier's terms, such as will enter at a lady's ear, and plead his love suit to her gentle heart?
Your Majesty shall mock me. I cannot speak of England. You conquered my father's territory in Agincourt. Dost thou now plan to conquer my heart?
Oh, fair Catherine, I do not wish to conquer you like a piece of land. If you will love me soundly with your French heart, I will be glad to hear you confess it brokenly with your English tongue. I have learned to be a warrior. I have learned conquest. But you can teach me to be soft. You can teach me to love and be gentle. Do you like me, Kate?
Is it possible that I should love the enemy of France?
It is not possible you should love the enemy of France, Kate. But in loving me, you should love the friend of France. For I love France so well that I will not part with a village of it. I will have it all mine. And Kate, when France is mine, and I am yours, then yours is France and you are mine.
What art so near? If thou is seen a thing to talk on when thou art dead and rotten, come hither. What art thou, man?
Golly gee, Paw, I have seen two such sights. One by sea, one by land. But I am not to say it is a sea, for it is now the sky. Betwixt the firmament and it, you cannot thrust a bodkin's point.
Why, boy, how is it?
I would you did but see how it chafes, how it rages, how it takes up the shore. But that's not to the point. Oh, the most piteous cry of the poor souls, sometimes to see him and not to see him. Now the ship boring the moon with her main mast, and anon swallowed with yeast and froth as you'd thrust a cork into a hogshead. And then, for the land service, to see how the bear tore out his shoulder bone, how he cried to me for help, and he said his name was Antigonus, a nobleman. But to make an end of the ship, to see how the sea flap dragoned it. But first how the poor souls roared, and the sea mocked them, and how the poor gentleman roared, and the bear mocked him, both roaring louder than the sea all the weather.
Name of mercy! When was this, boy?
I'm not winged since I saw these sights. The men are not yet cold under water, nor the bear hath dined on the gentleman. He's at it now.
would I had been to have helped the old man.
Ah, where have you been by the ship's side to have helped her? There your charity would have lacked footing.
Know that we have divided in three our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death. And here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you, shall we say, doth love us most, that we our largest bounty may extend, where nature doth with merit challenge? Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
Sir, I love you more than word can wheel the matter, dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich or rare, no less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor, as much as a child e'er loved or father found. A love that makes breath poor and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much I love you.
What shall Cordelia speak? Love and be silent.
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests and with champaigns riched, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, we make thee lady. To thine and Albany's issue be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife of Cornwall? Speak.
God. I am made of that same self-metal as my sister, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart, I find that she names my very deed of love. Only she comes too short. That I profess myself an enemy to all other joys which the most precious square of sense possesses. And I find myself felicitate and alone in my dear Highness's love.
To thee and thine hereditary ever remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Goneril. Now our joy, although our last and least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interested, what can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing?
Nope. Nothing.
Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again.
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond. No more, no less.
How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes.
Good, my lord, you have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return you those duties, back as are fit. Obey you, love you, honor you. And I will honor you until I have taken a husband. Why have my sisters husbands if all their love is unto you? When I have wed, the Lord whose hand takes mine shall be the beneficiary of my love and honor. I cannot love my father all.
But goes thy heart with this?
Ay, my good lord.
So young and so untender?
So young, my lord, but true.
Let it be so. I loved her most, and thought to set my rest on her kind nursery. To Cordelia, hence, and avoid my sight. So be my grave, my peace, as here I give her father's heart from her.
Royal Lear, whom I have ever honored as my king, loved as my father, as my master followed, as my great patron thoughted on my prayers. The bow is bent and drawn. Make from the shaft, let it fall, rather, through the fork invade, the region of my heart. Be Kent unmannerly when Lear is mad. What wouldst thou do, old man? Think'st thou that duty shall have dread to speak, when power to flattery bows, To plainness honor's bound when majesty falls to folly. The youngest daughter does not love thee least, nor are those empty-hearted whose low sounds reverb no hollowness.
Hear me, recreant, on thine allegiance hear me, that thou hast sought to make us break our vows, which we durst never yet, and with strained pride to come betwixt our sentence and our power, which nor our nature nor our place can bear. Our potency made good, take thy reward. 5 days we do allot thee for provision, to shield thee from disasters of the world, and on the 6th to turn thy hated back upon our kingdom. If on the 10th day following thy banished trunk be found in our dominions, the moment is thy death.
What?
Away, by Jupiter, this shall not be revoked.
Fare thee well, king. Sith thus thou wilt appear, freedom lives hence and banishment is here. Cordelia, the gods to their dear shelter take thee, maid that justly thinks and hast most rightly said.
Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true, I must here be confined by you, or sent to Naples, let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardoned the deceiver dwell in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands, with the help of your good hands.
Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails. Which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair. Unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself, and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgences set me free.